Welcome to Legends Live, presented by the National Basketball Retired Players Association, the official home of all NBA and WNBA legends. Now, W legend and LA Sparks executive Rushia Brown is back here today on Legends Live to have a conversation with the mighty Ruthie Bolton. Now, Ruthie played in the WNBA for about 8 seasons. I've got a triple-double coming up here now. She's a 2-time WNBA All-Star, 2-time Olympic gold medalist for Team USA, a 2-time published author. She also was a first lieutenant in the U.S. Army Reserves, and I'm sure Rushia is going to get to all of that and a lot of other things that Ruthie's doing around the world. But here today for our Legends Live conversation is Rushia Brown and Ruthie Bolton. And viewers, if you have any questions, just type them in and we'll ask them.
Ruthie, mighty Ruthie, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, girl. Doing great. Just flexing up on it a little bit. Just flexing on it.
I wouldn't expect anything less. See, I put all my clothes on, and you still get them out. It's so great to see you. So great to see you. And there's so many incredible things we want to cover just talking about you. But we want to start off just with a little bit of conversation about what's going on in our world right now. I know I listened to something the other day. And I think it was LL Cool J. He was doing a live, and he made mention to, what type of conversations do parents have with their children that are biracial? And I know you have 2 beautiful children that are biracial. And how do you explain what's going on in this world to them?
It's funny because my kids, they actually saw it, and because they were showing a lot on the news, they said, "Mommy, why couldn't why couldn't he just let him arrest him, maybe put him in the car?" And I said, people do things that it called, Hopi racism. And she said, "I know what that is, Mom. I know we talk about that at school." And she's 11 years old now. And what I try to do is just try to portray like love is so important, and that racism is something started years ago, but we can fight through it. That justice, that we have to be treated just like everybody else, and that we're all the same. And I know she talks about, well, why they treat us different because of color of our skin? That is so dumb. That is so. I said, well, racism is ignorant. It's very ignorant. And she said, that just don't make sense. So I just say, you know what? It's about loving who you are. That it doesn't matter what you look like on the outside, but loving who you are. And I don't want to stir up hate. And it's not about hate. It's about justice. I said, justice is something that will happen. We have to keep fighting for it. It's something that maybe gets blindfolded. But I said, justice will prevail if we all keep doing what we need to do, keep being positive, and keep cheering for the right thing. And so I just encourage them to just you don't have to dislike your friends because they that color, but teach about love and teach about loving each other in spite of what is happening. Because we got to rise above that. And that stuff starts from the bottom. So we got to rise above it. So I try to put this positive spin on it so they can feel good about where we're going, so they don't get too discouraged about, this is what I got to look forward to. So that's what I did with that. Go ahead.
No, I was saying just really praying, because that mindset of positivity is really important, because we do want our children to have aspirations of living in a world better than the one that we had to live in. And I know that the times that we spend having these conversations can be painful, but they have to be aware. But one of the things I noticed is that this time the protests have been different based on the makeup, because you have just as many white people and non-African Americans that are marching, that are protesting, that are standing up and speaking on behalf of what's right. So that too is something for our youth to be looking forward to.
Yes, it is. And I think that we do have to be realistic. It's not like my dad used to say, I don't want to make a scarecrow out of something real, to call a dime, penny, a penny. So we do have to be honest and with them, but also at the time say, hey, you know what? Hope is never canceled. Faith is never canceled. And just really put this optimistic, hey, if we all come together, the white, black, everybody, every race come together to create justice, is about everybody being fair. And so it doesn't matter the color of your skin. So really, I say, hope it left up to you. You all have to play a role too at school. If something happens like this at school, or something racism, where someone is treating you a certain way, you love people by who they are, not by the color of their skin. So it takes everybody doing their part.
Absolutely, and that's so important. And another thing that we know, that no matter what's going on in this world, sports is always the common ground where things come together.
Yes.
Even when we have a space where there are conflict, sports is the thing that people can agree on, because everybody wants to win and everybody wants to compete. And you had a chance to play for the national team, and Lisa Leslie wrote a piece last week. I read parts of it, so I won't quote anything. I just know that she brought up the fact that, you know, like, you get to go away from your country and you win a gold medal, but when you come back home, you still don't receive the same treatment. And you are Mighty Ruthie, the Olympian, and on different levels, because you served in the military as well. What are your we lost. Did we lose her? Ruthie. Oh no.
It looks like we lost her a little bit.
We lost her. Yeah, so we'll wait till she logs back in to ask her the question. But Ruthie is definitely.
I think she's back.
Okay.
She's connecting.
Hey, for every time I mess up, I owe you push-ups.
Ruthie.
Oh, what happened? Oh my goodness.
So you're back. So just click the video button to get back on. Let's see if she can come back. But one of the things we'll look at is understanding her role as an Olympian and serving in the military. We keep losing her. But I mean, it's just really important just to talk about how, you know, even in the military, so many, in days past, my uncles and family members have served in the military and then come back home and been treated in a way that was not, you know, respectable. So just I just want to get to know and understand her thought process regarding her time on the Olympic team and her time in the military and what she saw there. And then just I hope we can hear.
I hope we can hear her perspective on that, because it's great points, and that's going to make a really great conversation. She's trying to come back on, but it says the phone's not connected. Let's see. Ruthie, can you hear us? No.
And she's gone again.
So while we try to get her figured out, do you want to talk about anything that you're doing right now in response to the state of our country in your role at the Sparks?
You know, it's really amazing. I was on a call this morning with the NBA and WNBA, just the league overall, and everyone's making a concerted effort to put things in place as far as the social justice and standing up and being a voice and impacting change and making sure that everyone knows where the league stands. So I'm excited about that, and just the same thing with the Sparks, just social justice issues, figuring out a way that we can impact our community and give them a wide range of reach, be it national or local. So I think it's really important for everybody to stay in their lane. You know, like, we all have access to different things. We all have different skill sets and potential. So just whatever resources we have, I think it's important that we use those things in order to move forward and impact change. There is a lot of educating at this point that is taking place. And I, though drained, have been very open to my non-African American friends questions, trying to understand.
I've learned from you.
I'm just trying to understand, because if you haven't been exposed to what's going on, then it's really difficult to understand and even be empathetic. But once the mindset is open and people are willing to understand the history of our nation and all the things that have taken place and why the impact is what it is on the African American community, I do believe that, you know, we're all in a position to impact change and to make that happen. Like, it is so different this time, and it's so sad that it's not the first time or the second time or the 100th time. Like, it has happened repeatedly over and over and over again. But I think this time the voices that are coming to the table are not the typical voices. And so everyone is standing up. And even with the youth, Like I posted a video on my
Yes.
social media of these little kids. I think there was one little black girl and like 5 other non-African Americans. I couldn't tell because I couldn't see their faces, what color they were, what race they were. But they had their signs and they were yelling, Black Lives Matter. And one of them was so small, like she wasn't even clear in her speaking. But her parents evidently were teaching her what was right from wrong. So
Yeah.
that's where it starts. Mm-hmm.
No, and it's great because, Rex Chapman, give him a follow on Twitter for anybody who doesn't follow Rex already, but he is constantly sharing those types of videos and how with children, it's just innate. They just see another human and another person that they can like and love and just, enjoy life with. And I think that's something that we as adults should learn from the children to carry through our whole lifetimes. But let's check in and see if we can get Ruthie back.
Okay.
Not right now. It looks like her video is still not connected.
She
But-
just sent a text saying add her. So let's see if she can.
Okay, let's try again. Oh. Ruthie, we can hear you.
Oh, I hear a voice.
Okay, I don't know what's going on with the video. I pushed.
And we lost her again.
And she has so many gems and jewels, just all the information that she was able to share as an athlete and
Can y'all hear me?
serving in the military and just her experiences. I can't wait to get her back on because there's so many stories. Ruthie and I actually played together for a year internationally in Italy.
Okay.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
And
Can y'all hear me?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So Ruthie, how about just talk to Rushia. Don't worry about the video because I think when you push buttons, it makes you leave again. So.
Okay. All right.
All right. I want you to be able to talk about your amazing background and what you're doing now. So I'll leave you two to talk.
Okay. All right.
Okay, Ruthie, now that we see that we got you back on and we're just going to use your voice and not worry about the video aspect of it. But right before you got cut off initially, I was talking about the fact that, Lisa had written the article and just spoke about playing for the national team and then coming back home where there's always turmoil. But also you had a chance to serve in the military and you have risen to the highest level at everything that you've participated in. But how has race even played a factor, or did you understand and feel the same way about what she said regarding playing for your country and then coming back home and not having the same reception?
Yeah, I think it started early on. Obviously, I'm from a big family, 12 girls, 8 boys. And my dad, we would watch The Roots. You remember The Roots? The movie?
Yeah.
We'll watch The Roots or anything with racial. And my dad will always tell us, don't go to school and get in trouble. Don't go to school and hate or mistreat the white person that might be there because of what happened in the past, because of our history. So he would put in our head that if we got suspended from school or if that racism is ignorance, and that if you fight and get kicked out of school, you're just as ignorant as they are. So be smarter than them. Rise above that. And at that time, we were like, man, everybody else fighting, we want to fight too. So my dad said, you come home suspended, that's going to be major consequences. So I guess I put it in my head that no matter what racism I see, I looked at it as that they're ignorant, they're not educated on that, and that they're the one that need to be prayed for. And so with that said, I haven't experienced a lot of racism except a little bit when I was overseas, actually, skinhead. I was in Hungary. There was a little bit of stuff going on over there, but I guess I try to rise above the mentality of it. It will consume you. Like I've been glued to CNN watching this stuff and just shakes my head like this can't be our world we live in, where I played for our United States of America in 10 different national teams, 2 Olympics, 2 World Championships, and it does embarrasses me. I got friends from overseas that say, "Hey, what's going on over there? I thought this was a free country. What is going on?" And I said, you know what? I'm embarrassed. It's really unfortunate, that we get to see what happened to George Floyd, lynching in pure daylight. Like that just, to me, I'm still blown away by it. It's so sad and unfortunate. But we know that, not trying to sound all Bible and spiritual, but that our Creator is bigger than all of this. There is a solution out there, but it will take everybody. It's gonna take us. It's gonna take our white, our Caucasian friends, that my dad would say. So it's gonna take all of us. And I've had some of my closest friends that are white to reach out to me and say, "Hey, you know, we are in this with you. We're praying with you." And so, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that gesture. And I think it's just gonna have to take us just really pushing. And it's something that needs to be done. I heard someone, I think Van Jones on CNN said, the curtain has fallen. There's no more hiding, making excuses. Now is the time. Get off the sideline and get in the game, because justice has been blindfolded. One of my good friends, I wish I could read it. I'm gonna have to send it to you, and you can just send it to your viewers later. It's a poem called "Justice, Where Are You?" Take off your blindfold, because I know you can see. And it's really beautiful. He wrote that in an hour's time, because I said, you write poems all the time. What is going on? Write a poem about justice. And he wrote one, and I'm gonna have to share it with you. But it was really beautiful. So I think we just have to keep believing that justice will prevail. But I think get more action. We got to execute. Rushia, we got to execute. We got to get off the sideline, and we got to get in the game and execute.
Absolutely. And it's so important that everybody, I was talking to Bridget while you were off, that everybody has to play their role and make sure that they're doing the things that they need to do in order to make sure that change comes about. We lost her again. There she is.
Oh, you got me?
Ruthie, I'm about to tell your story myself, the pieces that I know, because you keep getting
you got
off.
it. You got it.
But you know, like we've talked about what's going on right now, but like we were mentioning early, it's really important what sport usually does. It brings everybody together. So I want to talk some about you. You spoke about your family and how large your family is. So I want to talk about, how did Ruthie Bolton get involved with basketball?
Man, I'm telling you, I want to try to tell this story as you know, compact as I can. But I started out this little country Mississippi girl with a bad Jerry curl, a bad shot. But you know, 14 years old. This story I have to tell, because this story embodies who I eventually became.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever jumped the fence, Rushia. I don't know if you ever climbed the tree, but I grew up in the South, and that was our main sport.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Girl, I will be climbing the tree with a dress on. I didn't care. I know I'm trying to beat the bars up the tree. And I remember that's one day, you know, fear has a way of paralyzing us, handcuffing us, and choking sometimes the life out of us. And I was a tomboy, but very athletic. This one day, we got ready to jump the fence. I had jumped many times before. And I ran to the fence, and I couldn't jump over. I was like, oh my God, what is going on? And I went back, started trying to jump it again, and I couldn't. So I attempted 3 or 4 times and couldn't jump. And I'm like, what is going on? I knew I could do it. So it started to get night. The street light came on. I had to wait till the next day. But I said, I know I can jump this fence. I went out there the next morning. I said, I could do it. And my brothers and my cousins saying, what's the big deal? We know you can do it. Don't worry about it. But it was something important about that moment for me to jump over that fence. And so I said, I know I could do it. So I had to see myself jumping over. I had to forget about the obstacles, but see myself jumping over. And sure enough, girl, I was running. I sort of closed my eye right before, and I leaped, and I jumped and landed over the fence on my backside. And girl, I celebrated that moment. And my legs kicked in the air like, oh my God, I did it. You know, listen, NC2A wasn't there. ESPN wasn't there. The Hall of Fame committee wasn't there. Even the WNBA committee. It was something important about that moment. And I was about 14 years old, Rushia. And I believe that's the day that I started embracing my professional basketball journey, my Olympic journey, because I didn't make excuses. I broke through that wall of fear that was trying to paralyze me. And it did so much for me. Like, sometimes we don't know what our why is. I said, know what your why is, because you know what? When you lose your why, you lose your way. And understanding what that why is, and my why is that I want to get over this fence. It might not make sense to anybody else, but this is important to me. And I think that set the stage for my inner drive to endure and to persevere and to be prepared for when the school just recruit me. And I said, you know what? And my dad said, you know what? Don't worry about what people say. Just don't let it be true. He said, okay, Auburn didn't recruit you. Go give them a call. That's where my sister was.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and called Auburn, and they said, we don't have the money to fly you, but we could put you on the bus. And I'm thinking, like, they're going to put me on the bus for 10 hours, and my sister flew on a private jet. I was like, that don't sound right. But my dad said, sometimes the door closed, get through a window. And so that set the stage for me being proactive and being confident enough. I said, I'm going to call Auburn. I called them. They put me on the bus. And I get there, Rushia, and they tell me that I wasn't as good as my sister. I never made the travel team. And I'm just like sitting there like, oh, my goodness, are you serious? This to myself, like, my dreams of basketball is over. And they said, so that door will close it. But that window was, they said, we'll give you a week to think about it. But we just letting you know the reality of your playing here probably won't be till your senior year. And so, Ruth, I went back home and I was discouraged. I'm thinking like maybe my basketball is over. But my dad said, listen, he said, they don't know how tough you are. He said, there's a toughness in you they haven't seen. You got to show it to them. You get to Auburn, keep your mouth shut and let your actions speak and you're going to be fine. I'm like, is it that easy, Dad? He said, I live my life by three things: faith, attitude, and my character, which is my work ethic, my choices I make. And sure enough, I went to Auburn, and the rest is history. I ended up starting my freshman year, and we won 3 conference championships, and I went to the Final Four twice. And I didn't even know how to play basketball. I watch film now. I couldn't shoot. I turnover prone. But my zest and my zeal and my tenacity and my love for the game just preceded me, and really just coaches I couldn't be denied. Like, wow, she make a lot of mistakes, but man, I'm telling you, she look like someone that we can trust in our foxhole. She look like somebody that wants this, and she's a fighter. And so that's what helped me until I eventually learned how to play the game, was that I just fought, and that tenacity and that just refusing to quit and being a great teammate and being coachable. And so I share with athletes all the time, like, hey, you might not be where you want to be, but if you have a positive attitude and an amazing work ethic, those combinations can go a long way. And you got to be coachable. You got to be willing to sacrifice for your teammates. And that's something I was able to do. And I wouldn't trade it for the world, Ruth. If I had to go back and do it, I would want it done the same way. I would want Auburn to not recruit me. I would want to have to prove myself at every stage of my career, even with the national team. I would want to have to prove myself, because that's what made me who I eventually became.
And Ruthie, as you were sharing that story and just thinking about all that you went through, the thing that went through my mind was like you were building character in those times when people were doubting you. Because like when you had to make yourself jump over that fence, it wasn't about what anybody else thought. It was about what Ruthie thought and how you felt about yourself. So you had already established that you were capable of doing anything you put your mind to. And so when you got there, like your daddy said, all you had to do was do the work. And a lot of times people want to embrace a quick path, but lose the fact that there's so many lessons to be learned when you're challenged along the way that make you understand your why when you finally get to that mountaintop.
Yeah, it's like, and it really helped me, because and that's what I try to do with girls that I work with now. So I try to remind them that it's okay if you struggling with shooting. It's okay if you're struggling with dribbling. It's about your mindset, if you're willing. Because when you quit, Bruce, that's when you fail, when you quit. But having the mindset is that I'm gonna do this. If I fall flat on my face, I'm gonna get back up. But also too, at the same time, we need someone to sort of like give us a little nudge, give us a little jump start, or to push us and remind us of our greatness, remind us that, you know what, you can do this. This is in you. And that's why I'm so big on positive words and instilling words in these young people. Say, hey, you matter. For example, if I go to a school to speak and I say, listen, there's greatness in here. I said, what's your name, young lady? Jennifer. I said, Jennifer, there's greatness in you. What's your name, young man? Jack. Jack, there's greatness. And they looking at like they're surprised, like I'm telling them there's greatness inside of them. So it's like, I want to, there he is, but I said, because I've been where you are when you're told sorry, the perception you're not good enough. So I want
Mhm.
to encourage them to say, hey, embrace this greatness, embrace who you are, because there is something inside of you. And I think everybody needs that, especially these days with what's going on, is that we need to remind each other of their greatness, especially young people. And that's really, to me, the biggest part of what I do, Ruth, is the platform to use basketball as a platform to really just share and to empower and to uplift and help restore and help these young people and help women, help anybody rewrite their story, giving them a message of hope, of resilience, of that, you know what, I am an overcomer. I can do this. I can turn my pain to power. And that's what it's all about, using what I've done, using my platform to say, hey, you know what, in spite of what you've gone through, you can turn your pain to power.
And Ruthie, your story is so incredible. I was sharing with Bridget earlier how we got a chance to play 1 year together in Parma, and for a while, and then just like there was nobody that would outwork you. And I think I see that in you both on and off the court. And you share how the things that you go through in life will build you
Hello?
up. Yeah, can you hear me, Ruthie?
I'm trying to hear you, Ruth. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear my voice now? Hello. Let's see if you get closer to the house where the Wi-Fi is. Oh, she disappeared again. We're having trouble with Ruthie Bolton. So many more gems, and it's funny because I know some stories about her, and I don't want to tell it because, of course, her enthusiasm and her love. I can't tell the story the way she tells it. Ruthie, can you hear me? I see her coming back and forth, but just talking about how life's challenges set you up for whatever is next, and just having an opportunity to do great and to be great and to use your platform to make sure that you empower other people is one of the things that I wanted to address and have Ruthie share with us, because Ruthie has a story to be told that nobody would have ever imagined and was still successful in the midst of it all. So hopefully we'll be able to get her back on and she can share that with us. I don't know if some of you saw her documentary that was on, I think it was on ESPN, and they
Hey,
shared
Ruth, can
her
you hear me now?
story. Ruthie, you
Okay,
back?
I don't know, girl. I don't know what happened. Can you hear me?
I can barely hear you. You're not loud at all, but I can hear your voice.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Okay, that's good. I hear you now.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, so you stay right there. Don't move.
Don't move. Okay, I'm still.
But right before you were getting off, just talking about how you were so strong in everything that you did, and you had a lot taking place in your life, but you still were able to overcome and still be successful in the midst of it all. And you had a documentary that I remember one night I was asleep. I don't know what happened. And I woke up and I saw my eyes. I was like, is that Ruthie? And I looked at the TV and you were on and you were sharing your story. And this is one of the things that I think, just your platform is so wide. Would you like to share with our audience what that storyline was about, your documentary?
Yes. Can you hear me, Ruth?
Yes, we can hear you.
Well, it's as much as the great things that have happened in my life with basketball and Olympics and Hall of Fame and all that stuff. There's also been some areas that have been extremely painful, and and dealing with domestic violence and going through domestic violence. And I lived through that about 10 years through the peak of my career. And it was tough. I lived through it, and I was young and naive, and I didn't know. I just didn't know. I didn't understand what was going on. But my basketball team was my safe haven. The girls was my. It was a place. It was my sanctuary, the basketball court, and this sustained me. And it was some tough roads. It was a tough journey. And so I finally managed to get out of that marriage after 10 years. But I didn't talk about it for a lot of years. I just swept it on the rug and just said, oh, it's a past, and it's a past, and it'll just go away, disappear. And I was asked to speak at a summit about 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, and they want me to talk about a little bit about that. And I said, sure, no problem. And I could not articulate any words. I didn't realize how unhealed I was and how painful going back there would be. And so it created a lot of noise and a lot of talk about, oh my God, I didn't know that she went through that. Oh my goodness. And so ESPN approached me about doing a documentary, and about it would really help a lot of women, people. You don't fit the profile of someone that had experienced that. And
Mhm.
so I thought about it and I pondered about it because I didn't want people feeling sorry for me. I didn't want people thinking like, why are you talking about it now? Or I had all these mixed emotions. I thought people would say, maybe you deserve what you went through. It was crazy, all different things in my head. And I prayed about it. And when ESPN, when the producers told me, they say you're gonna save a lot of women's lives by you sharing your story, and that's all it took. I said I'm gonna do it, and so they did a documentary, and it took about 9 months. And I told them the only way I would do it, Ruth, is that they put emphasis on forgiveness, forgiving yourself and forgiving others, because when you don't, you become a prisoner of your own emotions, and you
Yes.
live. You may fly, but you don't soar. And I know in order for me to
Mhm.
soar, I had to forgive and I had to let go and I had to move past that. But now, as I've traveled the last 3.5 years, Ruth, and I've gone to a lot of colleges, I've gone and done workshops, I've traveled overseas to speak for U.S. Embassy, I've gone to women prisons to speak, and it is amazing how just the stories I've heard and just being able to be a voice and to let these women know that they matter, that we're in this together, that you can rise above it, that your pain can become your power, your pain can become someone else's power. And it's been amazing. And I don't know if you know, but 92% of women in prison is from domestic violence.
Wow.
And it just became an epidemic. It was just learning about how bad it was. And so to be able to use my platform to create a space where women could really just share and to be a voice for these women. To me, it felt just as important to do this than it did to play basketball. Like, I've made my impact on the basketball court, but now I owe it to these other women that don't have the platform I do. I owe it to these other women that don't have the voice I do. It's to say you matter, that you can get your power back, that you can rewrite your story in spite of what you've gone through. So that has been a healing process for me. And listen, when I share with them, I haven't completely arrived, but I'm thriving, and I'm healing as I speak, and I'm growing in my journey. And we all, what we go through in life, our roots, and we all have our challenges. But it's like you can't wait till you get to this perfect place to start
And
sharing, because you know what?
absolutely.
As you're liberated from your fears, you automatically liberate others. And so I'm just thankful that I have a platform like the Legends Live. I have a platform like the WPBA. I have a platform like traveling overseas for U.S. Embassy to share and to really uplift women. And I'm just thankful because I've gotten so many letters and emails and just from women saying, thank you for giving me closure. Thank you for giving me hope. And to me, that is the biggest 3-point play you can ever make, is to give someone hope and to lift them up when they're down.
Ruthie, listen, and it's crazy because I know this story, but hearing you articulate and verbalize, the why you actually decided to
Can't
do
hear
it,
now.
because your platform is incredible because you've done so much on the court. And even now, it supersedes all of that because you're impacting the lives of other people. Like, we could talk about Ruthie the Olympian, the gold medalist, Ruthie the champion who's won, on every level, just Ruthie the mother, like all of that. There's so many different aspects to you, and just understanding that your goal is to impact the lives
Uh,
positively of other people. So I'm just really excited that, like, you get a chance to share this because I'm sure so many people do not know, and your voice and your story being told by you really makes a difference. So I want to ask you, you know, we talked about how you got started with basketball, how you went to Auburn, and a little time. We didn't talk much about your military stint. You want to share with us how that started? Because how'd you end up in the military? Ruthie, can you hear me? I hear her tinkling back there. I hear a little noise. Ruthie, can you hear us? Oh, she disappeared again. But and I know she's got bad reception where she is, but I definitely wanted to highlight the fact that she's also served our country. And this woman has been excellent on every level. She's been able to do some things that many of us don't even imagine.
I'm back.
And
Can you
she
hear me?
shared her story. Ruthie, you
I'm
back?
back. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. Charge my heart, not my head.
No, it's absolutely. We understand technology. It's a hard time right now, especially. You don't have T-Mobile, do you?
No, what you
Okay.
saying?
T-Mobile had some struggles here in the last day or two, but I was just sharing that we didn't talk anything about your military commitment, and I wanted to know, how did that come about? How did you end up in the military?
The way, can you hear me, Ruth?
Yes, we can hear you.
I ended up in the military. It's a true story, sort of a funny story. My sister Mayola, who was a superstar in basketball, she wanted to go to the military, and so she wanted to get some pants, and cut them off to some shorts, make shorts. And so I was like, she was like my mom in college. So she said, we can make a little bit of money. I said, cool, let's do it. And so I just signed up with her. And it was our first camp we went to. It wasn't a commitment. It was just going and seeing if you liked it. She didn't like it. She didn't like the low crawl. She didn't like nothing. Listen, after the 6 weeks, she was like, I don't want y'all pants. I don't want y'all shirt. I'm out of here. But I loved it because I'm like, man, I ended up doing something that I didn't think I could do, like the water exercises. It just built my confidence and gave me just a sense of like, wow, it's amazing when you put your mind to something, what you can accomplish. So I loved it. So I stayed in, Ruth, and so I was in for like 10 years, and I learned so much about myself. Like, I don't like water, but I end up jumping off in deep water with an M16 with a gun and what they call it, right? M16. And it's amazing the things I learned, the camaraderie with the team. And listen, a lot of the guys, because I was so strong and I ran my 2 miles in like 10.5 minutes and I did 72 push-ups, they was like, who are you? You are a machine. Like, what are you doing? They pulled me to the side in the alley, like, you are not human. I'm like, look at me. They couldn't believe the things that I did. And so they asked me why I was there. I said, I'm with my sister. She trying to get some pants. They looked at me like, girl, you crazy. They said, everybody's there was trying to get a scholarship to pay for college. My college was already paid for. And they were like, what are you here for? So, but I learned so much. I learned so much from the military and just taught me. And that's why being with the team, Rushia, with different teams, I love to inspire. I love to be like sacrificing myself for my teammates, making sure the morale of the team is important. And there were times where I was on teams where I didn't play much, but I wanted to make sure everybody was in the mindset to play. Everybody was in the mindset to play, and everybody had the camaraderie is huge. And I think it being from a big family, but military was something that really gave me just this sense of just like being part of a team and being part of a team, sorry, kids, being part of a team and understanding that camaraderie and that the morale is important for people, and that's how you be successful. So, but it was great, and I really wish I had stayed in it longer. But I would encourage anybody that watching, especially the young ones. Military is something that it's a win. It's something that you can always fall back on. It's something that should teach you a lot about yourself and teach you a lot about setting goals and accomplishing something. So it was fun time.
That's incredible. And just to listen to you talk about, like, I didn't know it was 10 years. So how did that overlap with college and you're playing professional? Like, how did all that overlap? Because when the WNBA started, you were part of that, the starting, the players that started on each of the franchises. So how did your military?
Well, I did the military in college, ROTC, and then after college, I was playing with the national team. It was tough because I had to go to reserve, and so I was trying to, in between training and in between the national team, go to the reserve, in between going overseas, going to reserve. And what happened after my 10 years, I just got out. The school told me, because I just didn't have time to do it, but I wished I had made time, because I could have retired from the military, which would have been great. But it was just something that gave me a lot of gratification. And being in the military, I feel like the skills you learn about leadership, the skills that they teach you about being part of a team, about sacrifice, and paying attention to details. This helped me for the Olympics, because it's like, one thing about the military, they look at your bed. If the bed not straight, it's gonna be the little small things. You think like, why you worried about your bed got a little wrinkle in it? Because you got to pay attention to detail, because those small details that you don't pay attention to could get someone killed in wartime. Or your shoes not tied straight. The small little thing that they look at, they say you got to work on. Because if you're not working on good habits, you're working on bad habits. And it's a very small thing that could get a whole platoon of people killed. So there was a mindset, and they push you to the limit, to the limit. And that's why I feel like Tara was doing in the Olympic 96. Is like she pushed us and challenged us. It's like, oh my goodness, are we gonna make it? And I know she was just trying to see how tough we were mentally, if we were willing to stand the test. Because you know what, Rushia, war is prepared in peacetime. You can't wait till the war comes before prepare. So we were prepared. We prepared in peacetime for the war that we never. That of course we didn't have a war when I was, but with the Olympic team, we worked so hard in peacetime. So when it was time to get on the basketball court, hey, we just let our actions speak.
You were ready. That's
I was ready, girl. Hey, we stayed ready, so we didn't have to get ready.
I know that's right, because it'll be too late.
Yeah,
it would be too late. So that's definitely an incredible thing. We're gonna have we'll close out with the rapid fire questions, but I'm gonna let Bridget come back on because there may be some questions from the fan base. See if there was anything that was brought out, because I can't see the questions. So we'll ask Bridget to join us.
No questions from viewers, but a lot of thank you for sharing, and kudos is to you, Ruthie, from our viewers. And I just want to personally say thank you for sharing. I took down some notes while you were talking, because some of the things you just said were very powerful. So thank you. And now, Rushia, take it away with the lightning round.
Okay, Ruthie, we're going to get to a little lightning round. I'm going to ask you a question, and you just give me the first answer that comes to your mind before we close out. All right?
Okay.
Okay, what was your most memorable win?
Oh, my most memorable win, is it the national team or the WNBA?
Whatever one for you.
Well, with the 1996 gold medal game, when we played the Brazilians. Do I need to go detail or does it?
No, you don't. I remember that game specifically. That was an incredible game. Man, my spirit was on fire just watching you guys compete and end up on that podium. Okay, so what is the one loss that still gets you?
Oh, in college, girl, when we lost to Teresa Weatherspoon team in the Final Four, Louisiana Tech, I'm still sick on the stomach.
That's what makes it the one loss, because it never goes away from you. So, who was your favorite teammate aside from?
Aside from you, okay, good. I was about to say that. Aside from you was oh my goodness, I'm gonna get to my favorite teammate was Nikki McCray and Dawn Staley. I gotta put both of them. I'm sorry. I know you said one, but Dawn gave me most of my big time shots. She was that point guard. She was that quarterback. And I'm gonna put Dawn a little bit above Nikki. And the reason I say that, because I remember, and I'm not supposed to elaborate on this, but I got to. Dawn came to me when I was struggling in a game, and she came to me. She said, "You better not ever look over at the coach. When I pass you the ball, guess what? I want you to shoot. And when you shoot the ball, Ruthie, guess what? There's a mighty good chance you're going to make it. So don't you ever be afraid when you play with me." Because I was in this one game, I was looking over at Nell a lot, looking over. She said, "No, I got confidence in you." So that meant so much to me. And I hit the winning shot in that game, too.
Look, and you mentioned it earlier, somebody else seeing something in you and supporting you and give you that little nudge. So Dawn has always been a coach, even on the court. So we all love her.
Yes.
Let's see. What was your who was your biggest rival?
My biggest rival was we played Tennessee in college, girl. Oh my goodness. They used to be our killers here. I remember one season we went undefeated and got to play them right in the region, and they beat us. I'm just like, oh, I'm so mad. They just had a way of just getting to us. But I would say the Lady Balls.
Okay. Who was the biggest trash talker you ever played against?
The biggest trash. Oh my goodness. The biggest trash was oh my goodness. You know what? Oh, I know. Well, this was international. This was the Brazilians. Australians. Michelle Sims.
Oh wow, Michelle Sims.
Oh, we used to go at it, girl. We used to go at it, boy.
No, she was definitely a great competitor. And
she was a great player. I respected her. I respected her game. Like, she was good, and she was trying to give me the business, and I was giving it right back to her, baby.
That's so funny. Okay, so what was your favorite city to play in?
My favorite city to play in was Phoenix. I don't know why the people in Phoenix and WNBA just love me. Like, I think they cheered when I scored against their team. They cheered. You know? Like, when I
Everybody loves Mighty Ruthie.
They were so awesome. They took my song too, Mighty Mercury.
Yes, they
my
sure
song.
did.
You know, they did, but I like the fans, and they were great.
That's awesome. So what was your least favorite city to play in?
Man, New York, I couldn't even make a layup in the Liberty Arena, man. It got all in my head. I'm like, oh, are we going to play New York? It was something about that arena, and I knew it was a mind game eventually. Like, oh my goodness, Ruthie, like get it out your head. Like I just felt like I just could not. In games, I just could not make shots. I struggled when I went I'm saying my whole career, I struggled in New York. I think I remember having one decent game. I was happy one game I actually made a layup and some free throws. I was like, oh, I don't broke through the barrier. But that was my toughest
terrible.
place to play.
Not at the Garden. Everybody loved playing in the Garden.
I don't know why, but me, I struggled. But I love Houston too. I used to wear Houston out. They used to sometimes still beat us, but I would have some of my best games in Houston.
That's funny. So, what are your go-to sneakers?
Oh man, my go-to sneakers. You know what? I like the I need something with cushion, like the Air Max shoes with the cushion in them. My feet flat. I came from a flat-footed family, whatever you want to say it. And so I like shoes with cushion in them. I wear Nike, but I also too wear I wear some New Balance too, just to walk around in. But any type of shoes that give me some cushion, I like.
Okay, last one. What is your favorite basketball movie?
Oh my God! I gotta just name one.
Okay, I'll let you have two since you are Mighty Ruthie.
Hey, word up, baby. I like, of course, the Titans. That's just old school. I just love the camaraderie, the teammate. It broke through. They should show that movie now. It broke through racial barriers. It broke through about just a team that people didn't believe in. It's just like, oh man. And one of my favorite lines in that movie is Denzel Washington, "You overcooking my grits." That's sort of a southern thing. But my second one is Miracle. The Miracle movie is not about basketball, but it's about ice. It's about skating, like ice hockey. Hockey, my bad, hockey.
Oh yes.
That
Miracle
movie right there.
Yes.
Do you remember seeing it?
Yes.
That movie was it to me. Every team that plays any sport should watch that movie. I always tell because it told a lot about teamwork and about. It doesn't matter about me. It's not what's on the. It's not about the. So it was a great move. So anybody listening that haven't watched it, and you need to watch it.
That is a great one. I hadn't seen it in a while. I think I'll have to show it to my daughter because that's something that teaches you so much about being on a team and the importance of playing together. So that's a great final note, Ruthie. And I just want to thank you for pushing through the technical difficulties.
Girl, I'm so sorry, and I think
it
might be on my end, but at least we get to see your pretty face and your smile.
But Ruthie, I appreciate you and thank you for your story and thank you for the impact that you're having on our world beyond the game and just all the women that you've touched. On their behalf, I say thank you and just want to say that, like on the court, we know who you are, but thank you for sharing Ruthie Bolton off the court with the people that are tuned in today.
Thank you, Rushia. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate how you evolved from a player to a businesswoman to a leader, and just always you're just a breath of fresh air, and really just so you impacted people so much, and I just thank you for still believing in the legends and that we're still lifting up the game through your eyes and through your vision, and we appreciate you tremendously. So if I may not tell you enough, but you are a special young lady, and your mom did a great job with you, your mom and dad, and you being a great mom, and just girl, you doing it, girl. You always in a triple threat.
Ruthie, I appreciate you. I'll be sure to tell Mama you said that.
Please do. Give your little daughter a kiss from me. Hey, give your daughter a kiss from me on the cheek.
I will. You give the kids a kiss from me, and you have a great day.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, Ruthie. Thank you.
Bye, sis. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Another incredible opportunity to share time and conversation with a legend. Ruthie Bolton, like on the court, we knew who she was, but today she went a little bit deeper and used her platform to share the impact of her personal journey, her struggles, and all that she's been through that makes her the tough and incredible woman that she is. So I thank you all for joining us on Legends Live. Thank you to the NBRPA for always supporting and pushing forward this platform for the women. And we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you, Rushia. And I just want to give a little plug for your social media accounts, because like you said earlier in today's episode, you're posting a lot of very educational and informative content right now. So be sure, viewers, to give Rushia a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Rushia B. And thank you so much for joining us again this Tuesday. That was a great convo.
And I have one more thing I would like, because, you know, we're in this crazy time, like you said, and the Sparks are hosting a panel tomorrow. And if you go to lasparks.com, you can attend. We have therapists on board just talking about how you come through this pandemic as well as the social unrest. And in particular, our student athletes, to help them understand that there is a way to come through. There are resources, and there's a way for us to be prepared when all this stuff dies down, and how to continue to be of impact. So I'd invite everyone to visit lasparks.com to get registered.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it. So thanks again, and great plug. And to all of our viewers, coming up next on Thursday, we have Kenny Gaddison in the house for a chat with Gat, and he will be joined by 12-season NBA legend and NBA champ Mike James. Will be on Legends Live with Kenny Gaddison this Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific via NBA Alumni on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And if you would like to watch any of the previously recorded episodes, including today's conversation with the mighty Ruthie Bolton, you can check those out at legendsofbasketball.com/Legends Live. Thank you so much for tuning in for this episode of Legends Live with us. Until Thursday, take care and be well.